Welcome to Session Sunday. Hi guys, it's Jack Edwards and today's session is focusing around patterns of play. But before we get into this week's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and if you missed last week's video, click on the link above. Okay, so moving into the first part of this week's session, we're moving into our first pattern of play, looking at a build-up from the back, okay, through midfield, and then we're looking to finish with a running behind. But before we get into it, let's have a look at how many players we've got this week and the equipment we'll be using. So we have 14 players, okay, so 12 outfield players and 2 goalkeepers. If you only have 1 goalkeeper, okay, try and ask a parent or a coach to go in goal, or you can then put poles or cones in the goal to signal different areas for the players to score. But try and get, if you don't have 2 goalkeepers, like I say, try and get somebody else to go in there just to make it realistic for the players. Same again if you have no goalkeepers, try and do the same, even if you can manage to get 1 goalkeeper going in the goal, and then find an alternative with the ball, with the cones and the poles for the other goal. In terms of the rest of the equipment we're looking for, okay, so balls, bibs, cones, poles. If you have mannequins, they'd be great to use for this as well. And obviously we need the goals. If you don't have goals, you can use poles or cones, okay, to act as the goal. And if you have small-sided goals, you can try and adapt it again to use with the goalkeepers. Obviously the player's trying to score in the corner, or you can put 2 small-sided goals together for 1 goal and then use cones and poles for the other one. So how it's going to work here, well, our 12 outfield players are going to be positioned around here. Okay, we're going to put them in 2 groups of 6, just so there's no confusion in terms of the movement, and so players can recognise where the next pass is going to. So the ball's going to start with each goalkeeper. In terms of the setup for this part of the session, we've got 40 yards of depth, so it's 20 from the start here into the middle, 20 to the side, and then we've got 30 yards of width. You can make that bigger if you want to, okay, but start off a bit smaller so the focus is on tighter movements, okay, to create that space. So in terms of the width, we can go 30 yards across here, from the first pole or cone here into the middle player in there, okay, it's about 8 yards, and same each side, so then you've got about 14 yards for this middle area, okay, just for more space for the players to attack. And then again, the depth in here, so you've got 20 yards, so you're probably looking about 15 each side here with a 10-yard gap in the middle, okay, so players can move. So how it's going to work, okay, this goalkeeper's going to play to the blues, this goalkeeper's going to play to the greens. So the ball gets played out to the centre back here, okay, who then takes a touch out their feet, and then what we see is the midfielder pulls out into space, okay, they're going to receive on the back foot to open out. This player follows their pass, and we want them to follow the pass quickly, but time the movements as well, because they're still going to be involved in this pattern. So then we're going to open out, and we're going to play the ball out to the opposite centre back, or as if it's the full back. Okay, so it can be either who's going to receive in front to take it in front of the body. Okay, so into space. This player will follow their pass again, so the players are really just following the pass each time. And then what we see is this player will pull into space. Okay, so they're going to start this side, okay, to come out, to then receive it. And then what we're looking for is this player here, whose time they're running there, will then come across the pole, okay, to receive first time from this player here. It's important that that pass is first time, okay, so we can move the defence around, okay. And then once that pass is going into this player here, we're then looking for this player to make a run, okay, on the shoulder, okay, so in behind the defence to receive in front, okay, to take a touch and then finish, okay. So then what we see there is this player will stay there after that, okay. The player who's just finished will go to the other team's queue, okay, the back of their queue. The player who's set will go out wide to be the finish. The player who was the centre back in here, or in the opposite wide player, will go up to be the midfield position, okay. And obviously this player will wait here, and this player moves up. So then we'll do it from the greens, okay, so the greens will play in, okay, so he stepped in. So it gets played from the goalkeeper first, out to the centre back, okay, gets played in, okay, the open out into space, play into here on the run, so this player's following their pass, this player's following their pass, then we're going to be playing into this player here, who's then going to set the ball back, okay, and get out the way for this player here, so then we can time that run, okay, in behind for a finish again. So this team, their movement from the wide area, it isn't as large, okay, but the player who's finished has got a longer run to the other team, okay, because we're both finishing on the same side, okay. So then this player will go to the back of the blue queue, this player stays in the middle, okay, and this player goes out wide, but then this player coming up here. Okay, so it's nice and sharp, getting the ball into midfield, getting it out, creating that space, moving the opposition around, playing through, back, and then we're getting that run from the opposite side to come in and finish. We will now move into our first animation before moving on to part 2 of this week's session. Now moving into part 2 of this week's session, we're moving into our second pattern of play. Okay, this time we're focusing on starting in the wide area. Okay, so switch the play, and then we're going to be receiving with the running behind again, but more from a central area. So it's if we've transitioned wide, secured the ball, okay, and we're moving the ball forward before then looking to score. So again, we're going to have our two teams, our group split into 2, so 2 groups of 6, just so again, the players know exactly who they're playing to. With it being so quick as well, when they're getting head up, they can see that, you know, if we've got green bibs and red bibs or blues, whatever it is, okay, they know that they're on their team. In terms of the setup, okay, we're going to have 30 yards of width and 30 yards of depth, okay, but that can change again based on the group that you're working with. In terms of the depth, so we're going 15 yards from the start here into the middle and 15 yards again. So you can have more. You can have another 5, so 40 yards, okay, including the goals. Okay, so 40 yards total there, but 30 yards for the playing area. Same with the width. Okay, so from centre back or centre mid to centre mid is 20 with 5 yards either side. And again, you can even give yourself more, even further, just for more space. And then in the middle, it's going to be 10 yards in here and 10 yards there. Okay, so then you've got 10 yards either side for more space. So then this is more like a little diamond. Okay, and it gives us space in behind to run into as well. So again, the 2 balls, one's going to start here and one's going to start there. So this is where we have, obviously, our players waiting. So the ball is going to get played into this player here first. So we've transitioned, we've won the ball, played to our centre mid or our centre back. This player follows their pass, okay? We're then looking to play into the middle, so creating space. So starting behind to open out, okay, to receive it. And then we're going to take a positive first touch across the body. Okay, so this player at the same time will be doing the same thing. Okay, so there's no danger of them crossing over really. Okay, they're both going to be taking touch the opposite way. This player in here won't go into the middle. Okay, they will play their pass. Once they've played their pass, they'll move across to this one here. So this player plays their pass into there, and then we want their movement to come back around the pole, but slowly. Okay, because when this player receives it now, this player is looking to pull out into pull out into space. So this is the centre forward, taking the centre back away. Okay, so once that ball gets played in here, okay, this player will follow their pass. We're going to take a touch, okay, out of our feet. This player will have already started moving. When that touch goes out the feet, then they're looking to get in here. I'm looking to play a ball in behind for them to run onto. And the best thing to say to the players is you've got 2 touches maximum to finish. So then you know when the ball's coming in, okay, try and finish first time. If it's not a great pass, they've got a touch and then a finish, because in a game, we want them to be instinctive, okay, and be clinical in that final third. So finish first time or a touch, the keeper comes out and we put it past them. So then the player who finishes will join the back of the queue. Okay, so they go back to their normal queue. Okay, the player who's set will come and be the striker, but obviously we'll start with the pass in here, and then the player who played the ball from here will move up there. Okay, so the player that starts will go with the greens now, plays into the centre back, okay, or centre mid, follows the pass. Okay, then we're looking to move out to receive it, play in, open out, okay, to play out again. This player's following their pass across there, and then we're looking for that touch in front of the body. Okay, so touch in front, this player moves out, this is where this player's movement starts to come in, trying to lose the man. Touch in front, okay, bring it so it can either come in here, or we're looking for that one in behind. So just judge where the touch goes with the players, move on, and then we're looking to finish. So then this player moves up to there, this player moves up to here, and then this player goes back to the start, okay? So it's important with the intensity and moving that ball quickly. We will now move into our next animation before moving on to this week's 4-corner model. Okay, so taking a look at this week's 4-corner model, starting off with technical and tactical, one of the main things we're looking at is our emphasis of movement. Okay, so it's important to relay onto the players, okay, that they've got to treat the poles and the mannequins and the cones as if it's a defender. Okay, so it's moving out to receive the ball. So if we want to receive on the back foot, we've got to create that space, okay, so then we can take it away from the body to move on to the ball. Not standing 1 yard away from the pole, because in a game it's not realistic and we wouldn't be able to receive the ball. Okay, so it's important to remind of that. And then moving into our timing of our runs. So timing of our runs into space. Okay, so if we're the centre midfielder and we're pulling out to receive the ball, not doing it too early, waiting until the player before has took their touch, okay, and just about to get the head up and then do it, okay. And then our timings of runs in behind, again, when the player before, the player who's going to pass the ball receives the ball, that's when we can start to make them movements, okay. So it's about that timing, okay, because then we can work on our speed. And then finally, the execution of our passes, okay. So when we're playing first time, making sure that there's not, when we're playing into someone who's only 5 yards away, it's just a delicate pass, okay. When we're playing a 20-yard pass, we're putting a bit more pace on the ball, okay. So we're testing players, but at the same time, we're enabling them to then play first time, or we're enabling them to take a touch out the body to open out, okay. So it's important to work, to be saying to the players, okay, when we're playing the ball in, have a bit of thought of the person who's receiving it and where they want to go. And then looking at our psychological corner, confidence. So confidence to play passes first time, confidence to make those runs behind, confidence in the final third. Okay, because obviously if you make a mistake in these areas, players can obviously lose that confidence and that belief. So it's important to say to the players, okay, if you make a mistake, that's the way it goes, we can adapt to it. Okay, so we'll look at that in the social corner. But they've got to be able to have that confidence to open out and fizz a ball in, to play a pass first time, and then move into space to score. Awareness, so being aware, again, that timing of the runs, the execution of passes, okay, the movement, okay, so being aware of where the pass is coming from, and then where's that player's first touch, so where can my movement go? So being aware of the space around us and aware of where the ball's coming from. And then finally, focus. So focusing on, just in terms of the whole session, really. So concentrating all the way through. So when the ball's on the opposite side and you've got 3 passes to wait, okay, not switching off, okay, so making sure that the players are constantly knowing that they're going to be involved, okay, so then now we're moving into the physical corner, so we're looking at that intensity. So if the intensity is high, the players aren't waiting for too long, okay, and then there's more chance of the focus and the concentration being high and the awareness being high, whereas if the tempo's slow and they're waiting around too much for the ball, okay, then there's chances that can drop. And then we're looking at our speed, okay, so speed of moving onto the ball, our speed of our passes, okay, speed of our movements, and then our body shape to receive the ball. So our body shape to open out, to take the ball in front, to take the ball away, okay, so it's important to have that body shape when we're opening out to receive it, we're opening out, we're not moving out just to receive where it's coming from, we're opening out to go where the next pass is going to be played. And finally, our social corner, so communication, providing information. So it's providing that play first time, okay, open out, okay, switch the play, little things like that, okay, getting behind, little bits of info. So if a player, is hesitating with their run, it's telling them to get forward. If the player's not opened out, it's open out, so then they go to play. Encouragement, so encouraging the players, okay, to set that intensity, to play at a certain pace, okay, to play the certain passes, okay, that comes from both the coaches and the players. And then finally, allowing ownership and responsibility for the players. So if someone receives a ball and it's not gone to feet or it's gone the opposite side of a pole, so let's say in one of the situations it was meant to get played into the centre midfielder and the pass has gone wrong, it's gone to the centre forward. Okay, centre forward just play back to the centre mid and then we carry on the drill. Okay, so adapting, okay, to little things. So a bad touch, adapt to it. Where would your next player pass? Can somebody else support with their run if somebody has a bad touch? Okay, so making the players know that if they do make a mistake or someone makes a mistake, they can take ownership and adapt to it. Now moving into the final part of this week's session, we're now moving into a build-up play to turn into a counter-attack. Okay, so we're going to have 10 blues and 2 greens as the defenders, and the goalkeepers can swap over. So now if you do only have one goalkeeper, okay, you can then it's perfect, just use the one keeper. But if you have 2, you can just take it in turns every other go to go in goal. So you can change your players over as well every few goes. So you might have 2 centre-backs here, 2 centre-backs there, or it might be you might have full-backs in there defending for where it is. So try and keep your defenders and even centre midfielders swapping over. This could be wingers and full-backs, again, centre midfielders, strikers, they can all swap over, okay, to give a bit of rest. So we're going to be building up from the back to get the ball wide to then provide a 4v2 counter-attack, okay. So the ball will start with the coach here. In terms of setup, we're doing 50 yards of depth total. So from the line here into where the striker is 20 yards. And then from where the striker is into the 2 midfielders, here's 10. A further 5 yards here for like the holder midfielder, okay? And then 15 yards from there to the centre-backs or full-backs, or again, even deeper midfielders, just however you want it to be. So the coach will play out, okay, to this player here. They'll take a touch, okay, and then they're looking to play this player, okay, so the angle can be either side, okay, but they're just going to be setting back. So what it's going to be, they're going to come out here, okay, they're going to play in, and then we're looking for this player, okay, to pull out here first, the opposite side, to then come onto the ball, okay, and they can either take a touch or play first time. Okay, so the players are holding their movements at the moment. Okay, they're not going anywhere. Okay, because like I say, we're just going to change them over, and then they're going to play into the fullback who's going to be on the run. Okay, so when the fullback comes in here, if the fullback's going wide, we want the winger, okay, to come in. If the fullback's going inside, okay, we want the winger to pull out. So the underlap and overlap. So let's say here the fullback receiver isn't going to go wide. We want the winger to come in here. Striker, okay, to occupy one of the centre backs. We've got the opposite winger coming in, so these three will attack with the fullback. Okay, against the two defenders, so we're looking for them to score quickly. So what we're looking for is drive into space, okay, and then make some quick decisions. So you might have the striker pulls out to here. We have the right winger comes in here, so it could be set into this right midfielder or the striker, and you could get your left winger coming in on the run. This player gets taken away, we take a touch out the feet, and then we look to finish, and then they would just go back to the start point. So centre backs in here, okay, your full back to the start, your winger back to here, striker back to the start, right winger as well. So if you want to start doing, play switching over, you can swap your fullbacks and your wingers. Okay, you can even swap, one of your midfielders with the striker every couple of goes as well. And you can just even go U3, swap with U3, U2, swap with these two, and then them two can swap with somebody else. Okay, so you can just mix it out based on positions. So we'll go again from the other side. So we're opening out, we're playing, okay, take a touch forward. This player can come either way, okay, so but really we want them to come in here, so then when he's set, okay, this player can move onto the ball. So we might have the fullback, coming in on the underlap, okay, which then means what we're looking for is drive into space, force the defenders to do something. This player stays wide, our winger, okay, because they're going to occupy one of the centre-backs, and then what we might find is we switch the play to the left winger, occupies one of the defenders, gets played into the striker, who looks to score. So it's a quick counter-attack after our build-up play. We will now move into our final animation before concluding this week's session. Thanks for watching this week's video. For more content, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok. The links will be in the description below, and we'll see you next week for another Session Sunday.